No, when I say a more sinister groove, when we're speaking about a more sinister groove on this matter, the sinister groove comes in where there is much to look at in situations like this. And the more sinister evil groove that we see within even the last one we had, I think it was in the Blade, didn't make any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? So while you're busy docking Mr. Alex Jones, it still does not answer the question as to what has really taken place in these school shootings. And I noticed during the whole entire time, even going back to Bush, Donkey Jr., you know what I'm saying, and so on, you saw the same groove. You know what I'm saying? All the way up to Joe Biden, the same groove. So, and even when it came to Obama, the same groove. So we know full well that a lot of the manipulation is based on the fact of driving the fear into people based on the nonsense in which you set up. In any immersion of anything, it's the same thing. Same thing if you have, let's use hip hop, right? And the boom bap music as an example. It came, hip hop literally came out of a certain emergence of music from a more Jamaican, you know what I'm saying, chanting style that invaded and came to the South Bronx and the so on and so on. But at the same time, when hip hop came out, it was came out in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But the style over time will change. And when the style changes, so will the atmosphere of the style on the streets and the different atmospheric stylistic changes. It's the same thing. It's just it's from generation to generation, new to old to new to old. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. And then when that happens, people follow within that style. Most of the emergent styles that were created here in the United States a lot of them were created by black people as well. You know what I'm saying? But when you see that merging of style and people follow it, and then this happens and that happens because of that, and come to find out much of the influence is coming from this and that of the music and so on, doesn't say as much for the music and what the music should have been doing or should be doing in order to keep the people or the minds of the children on a bright light. You know what I'm saying? We see it going dark. So, what was it really created for is the question that we must ask. Even when we look at reggae music, it's the same thing. Even if we go back to much of the early days of Rastafari and so forth on, and many things that were going on, and throughout its changes and time and style, you begin to see certain emerging things that merge out of it. You know what I'm saying? And you ask, well, why is it so as time passes on? You know what I'm saying? So when we look at even our government and what they're doing, even when it comes to the Ublade and Sandy Hook, we see this way of it being it emerged and then it continued to have that same flotation all the time during a certain period of time, you know what I'm saying, of government and who is ruling within the government. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't speak for much, but it speaks for a deeper, darker, sinister plot or game here. And it doesn't matter to these people who play these games and play these styles and push these things that it becomes stick in these kids' head that this would be something to do. Oh, was he paid to do it, or was he psychologically brainwashing to doing it somehow, somewhere? And then you say they looked in his room, and you see these books, and you see this, and you see that, and you look on his computer, and you see him looking at this, and you say, well, it still leads to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you went on the computer and look at this and look at that, all kids today, you can't even stop them from doing it on this if you give them a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? If you give them a cell phone. So even when you look at the whole thing that he may have been looking at and you say he was looking at, could still be a false pretense somewhere based on the fact that you're saying this is what he did. But even if he did do it that way, and he got all this and that, and then did this and did that, it still goes for the same thing when it comes to the internet and many of the psychological games that you play, even with the cartoons you see on many of these channels on YouTube. Many of them are LGBT cartoons, you know what I'm saying, and sticking the LGBTQ way, you know what I'm saying. So we know that the emergence of what we saw going on with these shootings in the schools still leads to a deeper, darker, sinister something here is just not look right. And I'm not going to call it a hoax because it's not a hoax because people lost their lives or people died. So that means that the fact of the matter is there's something here, but there's something also has to be done that we must look in and investigate into this rather than just going after people like Alex Jones and talking about liquidating their companies and all this different bullshit just because they made a theoretical theory statement. You know what I'm saying? That's to me that's crucifixion for a person right of freedom of speech. So we could easily see here where they're trying to even destroy that fact that you will be able to have that right. Because if he can't say that and so forth, and he has to be penalized where he loses everything he has, then something is wrong here also. You know what I'm saying? Because we're missing the bigger picture as to getting down to the bottom of what's causing this all together. And that's the most important part of it all. While people are busy worrying about liquidating this man's assets. You know what I'm saying? You know? We're still missing the deeper picture. And that's the most important of it all. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important of it all. You know what I'm saying? We must look at what it is that has caused this to come to this point over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? We see here where another one coming in by Isaac, look at School Her or whatever, 23 hours ago Eastern Standard Time. Remember, it could be a day or two or more. You know what I'm saying? But we see it's coming off the politics news, the media, you know what I'm saying? And this one is talking about Zelensky crooked deep state ass, you know what I'm saying? Secret Society, Madame Blavatsky probably following, you know what I'm saying, addresses possibility that if Trump, I guess he's saying if Trump beats Biden, you know what I'm saying, if Trump beats Biden, if the people are with us, any leader will be with us. Not if you're gonna get us into a nuclear war, asshole. So what the fuck is you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But we see Ukraine, which is in Russia, or president which is in Russia, old Russia, what do you want to call old Russia, the Soviet Union, is still Russia. You know what I'm saying? The president wanna be crooked ass deep state, crooked ass stealing, murdering, racist, everything you can name in the book. Zelensky expressed confidence during a joint press conference with Creep Joe Nutcase ass book by Rich Biden on Thursday that the United States will continue to support his country's defense war against Russia even if Donald Trump retakes the White House. Yeah, because why you set up all the documents, you keep Joe Biden and the rest of them clown ass motherfuckers, set up documents and drive it through legislation and Congress and all type of shit and pass a bill saying that nobody can do this and like little fucking kids. This is one another thing. When they write these executive orders, there cannot be no state. There cannot be no stay of execution on these. No, there cannot be wrong word. There cannot be a locksmith on these executive orders. These executive orders must be reversed in many ways. This is the same way you reverse Donald Trump's border laws, executive laws. You reverse them. So we must reverse many of his laws once, say we get these fucking beasts up out of that seat. You know what I'm saying? We especially go back to Biden and Kamala Harris, dumbass Russia. You know what I'm saying? We've got to get them and reverse many of them. Even Kathy Hochul must be removed. She must go as well. She cannot remain in office just because she's doing this, because she's doing that, and just because she's a woman. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the corruption and the position in which they hold. Same thing goes for Q-Ball, Greasy Head, Screwball Adams, you know what I'm saying? But we see a number of leaders here in Italy, according to what he's saying, including President Creep Joe Brokeback Bitch Biden, are facing upcoming elections. You know what I'm saying? Election challenges. Note a report before asking Zelensky, not case twist back, broke, secret deep state, blood drinking ass. How will the security agreement signed tonight and the other promise of support continue if they are not in office? And what's your contingency plan if they don't? I guess as a reporter was asking this question, he responds by saying, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the people of the nations, the people of nations, first and foremost to the United States, to the countries in Europe and on other continents who have supported us since the very beginning of this absolute unjust war. And it's not unjust. He's lying, he's word playing, and he's motherfucking full of trickery and garbage. Notice how he starts off the whole thing. To the answer of that question was, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the people of the nations. The nations. Who? Which nations? The nations, the 34 nations in NATO, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Crooked motherfucking organization. You know what I'm saying? And then he's saying he'd like to thank the United States. Well, the United States is who? Zelensky, jackass, every single body in America? Or everybody you say in the United States? Everybody in the United States didn't agree with your bullshit. You go deep state, blood drinking, blood news, back of war, cracker looking, twisted, fucking Madame Blavatsky, Alistair Crowley sucking balls, fucking evil ass. We didn't agree with that. And then they talk about to the countries in Europe and other continents who have supported since the very beginning. He has supported you to create a nuclear standoff, probably when you were doing the John F. Kennedy group. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where New York governor, want to be crooked ass, need to be kicked out. Hoxha, along with Comodoro Morales, that says she's considering a mass ban to reduce hate crimes triggered COVID fearful ex-users. You know what I'm saying? But we see Governor Kathy Hochul, a demon Democrat of New York, said she was considering bringing back a ban on masks in her state to reduce crime. Okay, a proposal that was rejected by the social media, by some social media accounts still fearful of COVID-19 pandemic. Hoxha spoke to CNN lioness news anchor Laura, whatever, Coates or whatever, on Wednesday night about potential measures she may take to reduce rampant crime in New York City, including reinstituting a previous mass ban. Jewish leaders have stated that the masks have made violent offenders less afraid to commit crimes of hate. But I absolutely will go back and take a look at this and see whether it can be restored, because it is frightening. It is frightening to people, Hoxha said, of a mass ban. Okay. Well, you're the one who put it out there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some COVID-19. And it ain't not. It's in your mind and a short. But absolutely, another one coming by David Cantonese 10 hours ago. Remember, hearing all day. Sometimes it's like that. It could be a couple days or more. But we see absolutely Republicans Rep. Andy Barr say June 6 prisoners should be released. You know what I'm saying? This is coming out of the McClatchy, D.C., it looks like. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? But the utterance came during the closing seconds of a cable news interview with a nudge from a partisan anchor. The hundreds of convicted serving time for criminal activities in the riot of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, Baphomet 6, Luciferian 6, Stanford 6 feet apart, they buried 6 feet deep. You know what I'm saying? The January 6 Baphometical 2021, you see, should absolutely be released from their jail terms. Congress Andy Barr said, agreeing with the assertion of Fox Business anchor Maria, I guess the name is Bartermio, or something like that. But Mrs. Bartermio, or whatever, who it is, you know what I'm saying? I would call her Maria, because I don't want to mess with the name. You know what I'm saying? For Trump, Donald J. Trump, Trumpy big, baby. You know what I'm saying? It just matter from what we see. From what we see. You know what I mean? From what we see. You know? Alright, hold on a second. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? So from this matter, you see it here, for Trump, Donald J. Trump, Trumpy baby, allies who regularly amplify false claims about the 2000. It ain't a false claim. Ain't nothing false about the garbage they did. And what's false is who they're accusing and calling an insurrection on. That's the false thing. You know what I'm saying? Regularly amplify the false claims about the 2020 presidential election being stolen. Told the Kentucky she'd like to see some movement with these people getting out of jail. You know what I'm saying? It is just wrong that all these people have been locked up by Tracy Romo, you know what I'm saying? Tisu, something like that. I would say Maria said, you know what I'm saying, in I guess incredulously or something, incredulously or whatever. Now with all of new information, this is just wrong. Yeah, because they didn't do anything wrong. They were put up to it and they were driven to it, and there was rabble-rousers and crowd who set it up for the Demon Democrats. It was all truly set up by the Demon Democrats in all ways. You know what I'm saying? And Nancy Pelosi is trying to slither and slime her little sleeky, slimy ass up out of there. That's what she's doing.